Greetings, dear Taurus. Welcome to Teepus Tarot, and I hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world. And today we're going to go ahead and take a peek at your intuitive tarot reading for Aries season of 2026, which also coincides with the spring equinox, and which we also know as the astrological new year. So we are cycling back into a whole new astrological new year. Many cultures all around the world do celebrate the new year on the spring equinox. We are in the Northern Hemisphere. I'm in the United States right now, in Southwest United States, and we are celebrating the spring equinox. So on March 20th, ushers in the beginning of Aries season and the spring equinox. And it's really just collectively a fresh time for all of us. This marks the time where the days and the nights are equally as long, right? And so it's very revitalizing, it's very balancing, right? And it's like this transition between the dark heaviness of the winter that some of us have been experiencing, and two, just like more daylight, more freshness. The trees and life, flora and fauna come back to life. I mean, it's just like a lot more natural energy and vibration that's around when we get into our springtime. And spiritually, it's really a time for us to really be able to set the seeds of our intuition, our intentions, and really deciphering what we really want to accomplish for this season and going forth into the next astrological year. Okay. Another thing about the spring equinox is that, yeah, we're going to go ahead and do a 4-card spread. Okay. I've got the spread right here. So I'm just kind of looking at what each of the cards we're pulling mean, but we're going to be using the Neoteric Feminine Tarot to pull your cards, dear Taurus. So if you are Taurus and it's in your sun, your moon, and particularly your rising, then it is my sincerest intention that this reading may resonate with you in some capacity and that you're able to receive these messages and apply them to your own life, always and only for your highest good. All right, let's go ahead and get started, dear Taurus. And our first card is looking at what is the energy of the spring equinox for you, dear Taurus? What is the energy of the spring equinox? This is going to be, we're living in quite unprecedented astrological times. We've got Neptune, the planet of our illusions and our dreams, really stationing into Aries as well, which is a very like fiery cardinal sign. So on a collective level, this is really going to shift all of our illusions and what we deem is real. Like it's going to catapult it into a fire sign, which is going to be very interesting because we're just getting out of the Piscean, a softer, more imaginative state that Neptune really thrives in. So when it's catapulted into that Aries sign, your wildest dreams are possible at this time. All right. And we also have Saturn, the planet of commitment and of discipline, of time, that is also in the sign of Aries. So that is going to really catapult, I believe, a more directive drive in us really like applying a lot of assertion into our commitments and our daily routines as well. Okay. So be expecting that. And this is going to affect us on a collective level. And you can already see the wheels of it turning on a global scale when we're talking about those particular energies being very combustible in some ways. Okay. So let's see for you. We are looking at the energy of the spring equinox for Taurus. Let's see the energy of our spring equinox for our Taurus babies. All right. So interesting. You've got the Judgment here. Okay. This to me, there's something very significant that happens around this astrological new year for you, where you are coming to a moment of clarity. You're probably having a lot of aha moments, where are a wake up call to what your life's purpose is. And that's just, and this is interesting because this also came out for Aries as well, the sign that I did before this. But I do think that it's interesting that many people, and even I've been doing reads for people, and the Judgment card has been popping out a lot in our collective conscious and our collective energy. So it's just more about you really evaluating where you are right now and deciding like what is your mission or your purpose around this particular time. And then let's go ahead and just do a clarity for this. Let's just clarify this energy, please. Okay. So it's clarified by the Five of Swords. Okay, so you could be feeling there's a lot of conflicting energy, perhaps a lot of conflicting communication. Like you could be kind of having rows or arguments with people, disputes, so to speak. Now, if it's not like directly with other people, there could be a lot of like tension in the air when it comes to your communications. Now, if it's not particularly like that communicatively for you, what it could be is like this is your internal state of this, right? Is you are having very back and forth conversations within yourself. The inner dialogue is very hostile, okay? Or very like it's just back and forth, Taurus. So, and then maybe this, let's pull one more card, but that could also kind of align with this self realization, with this judgment, like that clarity that you get. And you've got the Six of Swords. So you're definitely like moving into new waters here. You're traveling. Now with that traveling, if it's not an actual physical journey, what this is going from one stage of life into another stage. And I feel like there's something very significant around this time. This energy is really like you're waking up to a different phase that you need to be in life. What's been happening the past few seasons and years for you just hasn't been exactly like where you've wanted to be. And so maybe you've kind of battled with other people, battled with scenarios or situations or people around you, or maybe even battled with yourself about what this awakening looks like. And what are you actually awakening to? Okay, what's that? What is this final aha moment or this final wake up call that you're receiving at this time? I do think that you're really being calibrated right now to change something in your life, okay, and to really like move on from where you were, okay, to where you like to be, okay. I don't think that this is a time where you're feeling very like stagnant or stationary. You're feeling the need to like itch out to grow out of things, okay, to just move on and to maybe like accept what was in the past and to move forward. So let's look at number 2. So I see a lot of movement for you in terms of the energy. You're definitely entering into a new chapter. But let's look into what's something that's waking up personally for you in life right now. What is Taurus awakening to at this time? All right, so we got a couple of energies here. Taurus, I think there's a few things you're really awakening to. First of all, you've got the Seven of Swords. Now, when we do talk about the Seven of Swords energy, it is very tricky because it can be associated with being very conniving, being very deceitful. But when I really think about it, the Seven of Swords is strategic. It might not do things by the books, okay? But one thing is for certain, it understands like how to get ahead, and it understands that to get ahead sometimes it's not always mandatory that you play the rules, okay? And I do think that like maybe that's just something that's awakening inside of you. Like you're really realizing that in order for you to get ahead in life, the same old situations or the same old solutions that you've utilized in the past are just not going to work right now. You've got to be a little bit creative and think outside of the box to really get what you want. Let's say I'm just thinking of an example where you there's a lot like, okay, Taurus, you're an earth sign that has to do with our tangible goods like resources or money, right? These are all part of this life. Now we're having like exploding cost of all kinds of goods, food, utilities, gas, like the goods of everything are really like sky high right now. And maybe there's something here where you're being able to take advantage of perhaps a loophole that's going to like help you to save money, right? Or help you to not really like spend as much, right? Or to get something for free even. But I'm really seeing that there's something here where you're just like tired of always doing the most, where there's something here where you're understanding that you're going to have to come up with this scheme in order to be able to save yourself, okay? And it all has something to do with your stability. This Four of Wands, this is your community, this is your stability. We're talking about your home, we're talking about your family, your community, and maybe even like your home. And you're really thinking, Nine of Pentacles is you're really thinking on I talked about finances because that Nine of Pentacles really is very like self-sufficient when it comes to resources. That Nine of Pentacles is also has a lot of financial gain, has a lot of material success. So there's something here about like you trying to increase your stability here, perhaps through means that you haven't really traditionally ever thought about. But the purpose is really to free yourself up financially so that you can have a bit more stability, okay? Much, maybe even more savings. Because what you're finding right now, Taurus, is that what you have right now by pay or playing by all of the rules has not gotten you very far, and you're just sick of tired of being like stuck in the mud or not being able to really, but despite your hard work, feel like you are able to get to the next level. Okay. And that Nine of Wands is this wounded warrior, and it's just like waiting for things to change. It's tired of being of maintaining these boundaries and needing to be persistent all the time. And it's just wondering, like, when am I ever going to have enough? When am I ever going to get to that next level? When am I ever going to see the like I'm working hard and I'm not getting into this financial abundance? Okay. So I see that there are perhaps opportunities that are awakening within you where you're being able to see some shortcuts, some loopholes within that are really going to be able to help you on a resource level. And I hope that makes sense. Just make sure whatever you're doing that it is legal before you partake. All right. But I see it's all for the best benefit is for your stability, and you got to do what you got to do. All right. Let's look at our third card, and that is what are some opportunities that are ahead for you at this time, Taurus? What are some opportunities that are ahead for Taurus at this time? Okay, so you've got Five of Pentacles. This is definitely feeling a bit of lack, feeling like money isn't really going so far. Welcome to the club. It's just having like some type of hardship. When I think about the Five of Pentacles, it's typically a financial one. And if it doesn't have to be. It could be like also just feeling like a little bit lonely, a little isolated, like you don't really have the support that you'd really like at this time. And you've got the Ace of Wands, where I'm definitely seeing you be like having a drive to create or to be like inspired by a new project, right? Or a new creation of some sort. And this is talking about an opportunity that's for you. Maybe perhaps that opportunity, maybe perhaps there is due to experiencing this kind of like financial insecurity or this lack, puts like a little bit fire from up underneath you, and you get really like driven, and like that aha moment comes up. And remember, we talked about this judgment where you're like, aha, like I'm finally seeing a purpose right now, and this is going to get me out of this difficult situation. But in order for you to find that purpose, there was like a spark that you really needed to be ignited in order for you to get there. And you're in a very, I feel like the opportunities that you have are very balanced at this time as well. Like the way that you're navigating in life, it's very like you're not too emotional about things. You're also not too logical about things. You're just doing things that make sense. You're being a very like strategic, I would say a strategic, a calm, and very self-sufficient person with that's really has a good ability to like assess a situation, right? With that Queen of Swords. And finally, how can you allow light into your life? So how can you allow light into your life? This is for Taurus. All right, Taurus, first of all, you're holding too much. You're going to need to learn how to delegate, just because I always tell all my Taurus friends, I was like, the rest of us have like 24 hours in a day. There's a lot of things that we can't even accomplish in that 24 hours. And it's almost like when you see the super amount of things that Taurus can accomplish in a day, it is truly a superpower. But remember to delegate. You do not have to hold all of these responsibilities and duties to yourself, and there are loved ones that are around you that are here to help you, and all you got to do is ask. Okay, so I see you like taking on like just a lot of unnecessary like burden, and that load can be lightened by a bit of delegation. But all it takes is a new way of communicating. Okay, don't just stay in the dark. Ace of Swords are talking about new ideas. This is new conflict, having some clarity, right, of doing things not harder but doing it smarter. All right, when it comes to that, and alleviating some of those burdens from you. And I do think these are like simple conversations that you need to have with those around you that are really going to just help to lighten up your load so that you can be in this boss energy, like this is you. But Queen of Wands is more importantly like just very free spirited, very feisty, very confident, and very self-assured. Okay. And so the light in you comes through when you're able to speak with truth, speak with clarity, and to understand that all burdens are not yours to take on, and that it is okay to reduce that load and to give on to others. All right. You don't have to do it all alone, Taurus. And this is really what this reading is saying. So that's what I got for you. I hope this was helpful to anyone who listened to this message in its entirety. Thank you so much. My name is Tifa. I do tarot. Please feel free to think about considering me for personal readings. You can find more information in the link below to see just some reviews of the different clients that I've had and also the different services that I do provide. I love you guys, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye.